growing up, I was around a lot of drugs, a lot of violence. My dad was in and out of prison my whole life. I think we moved away when we were quite young. We got put into like a temporary accommodation sort of thing, which ended up us being put in a house in Yate. But yeah, growing up wasn't easy. I come from a very poor background. Like yeah, it was tough, really tough. So at one point, I think we even ended up on the streets. Literally, yeah, I can't remember where it was. I think it was like Barnstable or something, somewhere like that. We ended up on the streets there. We really had no hope. Obviously, growing up with it not being easy, I kind of fell into that sort of crowd growing up. Like I was getting myself into trouble. I was doing drugs myself quite heavily as well. So at times, like, yeah, like I got to a point where I really, like I said, I had no hope. So I was like, I found myself just doing it on my own, just like off my own bit. Like, and I started suffering really bad with like my mental health. Yeah, I suffered with depression quite a lot, anxiety as well. It got to a point where I was literally sat in my car one day and I was thinking, like, what am I doing, man? Like, what am I doing to myself? Like, I'm ruining my life. Like, and I called up one of my friends, Billy. Obviously, I sat there in my car over and I was crying and I was explaining how I was feeling and going over it. Like, realistically, a lot of it was like trauma as well. A lot of the stuff I did to block out the trauma from growing up. So when I was speaking to her about it, she was like, you need to come to church or go to a life group. Oh, I think it was like it was a men's group, and just talk to people and just like see if you can get prayer and see if it can help you. And I've always been open to God. I never really like practiced my religion as such, but I was always open. I believed. So I was like, yeah, I'm a girl. Like, I'm gonna go to it. But yeah, so the next day, I believe her dad took me to my first men's group, which is where I met my church family. My feelings were like, I wasn't alone. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't alone anymore. There was people there that had like had their own issues as well, and kind of like overcome it by just coming to God and coming together. And so yeah, on the Sunday I did put my hand up. I think he was talking about like how, if I remember rightly, maybe like along the lines of like our past doesn't kind of like define us, and like no matter what you've done, like God forgives, sort of thing, and like we're not condemned, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think it really hit home for me, and it was something that like really hit me a little bit, because I kind of felt like a lot of the time I put myself in those positions, which obviously I did, but like I kind of like fell deeper into a rut because I was blaming myself as well. If that makes sense, like, so then I was like, do you know what, like, I've done what I've done, but I can turn my life around. Meeting my church family means everything to me. Everyone's so welcoming, so friendly. Like, no one's judging you at all. Like, you come in everyone, no matter what sort of state you're in. You could be hungover from the night before, or battling depression. You could come in, everyone still gives you a hug and like makes you feel the most welcome. And it is literally like a family. Coming to Jesus, it's helped me battle things a lot better. It's give me a lot more courage, strength as well. Like, I'm not as weak. Like, I have my bad days, but I'm like, oh, I can turn this around now. It's not like I'm defeated. It's like, oh yeah, battle's not over. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely good having Jesus on your side, man.